Overnight, another synagogue in Montreal was firebombed. You want to check out this report to see all the details.
What we need is we need further action from all our governments, municipal, provincial, federal, and the police to help ensure that this is taken very seriously.
Yankee Pollack here for Rebel News. I'm in the Westmount area in Montreal, behind a temple that was firebombed just last night in an apparent hate crime. The Montreal police is now investigating it as a hate crime. The Westmount Public Safety overnight arrested the individual that threw two Molotov cocktails, one here, one as you can see over there, that almost went through, but I spoke to the rabbi and she told me that due to the security measures they have, it did not penetrate the building, but the building suffered some smoke damage. There was a scrum, and we spoke to the rabbi of the temple, and we also spoke to two city councilmen that were here to show support and answered some questions from reporters. We also got confirmation from the rabbi that the arson attack is being investigated as a hate crime. This temple stands just across the street of the Israeli consulate that's right in that building. So as you can see, it's right next to it, and this temple has been a target of a swastika attack just a few months ago, where people spray painted a swastika. And also during the weekly hate fests by the pro-Hamas groups just down the block, this temple has been suffering the consequences from it. Obviously, this temple isn't the only Jewish establishment to be attacked since October 7th. Over a dozen, maybe more, Jewish schools, synagogues, temples have been attacked in Montreal and Toronto and Vancouver, all over Canada. Canada has been filled with hate marches, hate attacks, and if the people that do it are not Canadian citizens, we should deport them. Go to deporthamas.com to sign our petition to deport these people.
This issue since we took office, trying to ensure that the community feels safe and secure, and that the residents don't have to worry about issues of this nature. This is very disturbing for our community, and we need to ensure that our residents can feel safe and secure and not have incidents of this nature. Thank God our public security acted quickly. Thank God that they were able to be on the scene. We've been asking public security to be more vigilant, and they were extremely vigilant. So we were able to avoid a situation which could have been much worse. The danger is not significant, although incidents of this nature are always problematic for our community, and we can't take them lightly. We're very, very grateful to the public security and to the police for having acted so quickly.
Can you tell us what the public safety did when that happened, when the attack happened?
I don't have all of the information. From what I understand, they were on the scene very quickly. I understand that they apprehended the individual and advised police who were on the scene and acted quickly. It was at midnight, from what I understand. They were in the vicinity and appeared very quickly on the scene.
So you're saying public safety was able to apprehend the suspect right after it happened?
From what I understand, but again, it's I haven't spoken to public security. I'm hearing it as the news has reported it, and as I heard from people at Temple. I think Jonathan would agree that our council has taken this very seriously since we were elected. There's a Commissioner of Public Order. It's the first time that there's actually a Commissioner of Public Order per se. We have put this in the forefront. We've had meetings with the commander of the SPVM in Westmount. We've had meetings with the police chief in Montreal. We've had meetings at Westmount Square in Onewood with the police. So we've very much tried to ensure that our residents are heard, that they have a dialogue with the police, and that they're able to exchange and learn from the police, but the police to learn from them too, and to understand how utterly terrifying this is for our residents to live with this type of situation. It can't continue. It must be stopped. when there's a firebomb to a synagogue. It's not the same as a demonstration, which can occur. This must be stopped. We must feel secure, and we must have residents feel that they can sleep at night and not worry about their kids attending daycare here at the temple and attending schools in the vicinity. This is now reached a point where we must put an end to this.
Do you feel like the provincial government, the federal government is doing enough in protecting?
I think we're getting a lot of support from both the provincial government and the federal government. Both Jennifer Macaron and Anna Gainey at the provincial and federal level are very supportive. Leslie Roberts from the city of Montreal also very supportive. We're all working in collaboration, but we need better laws that protect us. We need action on the level of the police to enable them to take further action and to ensure that this doesn't occur. This is not what we can tolerate as residents of the city of Westmount, the city of Montreal, or the country of Canada, or the province of Quebec. This is a situation which has to be dealt with, and is very alarming for anybody living in a city like ours.
Against the entire Westmount community and the Montreal community and the Quebec community and the Canadian community. And we cannot allow these things to continue. Our community has suffered. The residents of Westmount have suffered and been impacted by protests that cross the line from expression of free speech and democratic rights to protest, which are an important part of our democratic system. But we need more action from the provincial and federal levels, concrete actions, and not just committees and councils to study the problem. I think we have a really good understanding of the majority of the problem, and it's time for action.
What we need is further action from all our governments, municipal, provincial, federal, and the police to help ensure that this is taken very seriously and that laws are put into place that this is dealt with at the highest level, that hate crime will be enforced, and that any measures, anyone who continues to try such measures will be absolutely prosecuted at the highest levels. This must stop.
Can I ask you a question? Every Sunday there is a demonstration by the Montreal for Palestine group. Do you feel, and last week there was a big controversy, they hung like dummies of a Jewish person. Do you feel that these demonstrations are contributing to the rise in these kind of attacks?
Look, it's very hard for me to speculate and to attribute cause and effect. Certainly the demonstrations are a major concern to us. Incidents of that nature, hanging in effigy, are terrifying and frightening, and we take that very seriously. We hope that, and we understand that this has been investigated by the hate crime unit. Hopefully arrests will be made. Hopefully prosecutions will be made. But the police and the federal and provincial and municipal delegates who are elected must really take this seriously and see that incidents of this nature prove what we've been saying all along, that we're really frightened. Our residents want to be secure, and they need to hear us and take action.
Do you think it's more a political issue than a police issue?
Look, we're municipal, local city councillors. We're hyper-focused on local issues. I think we have enough laws in Canada that are designed to prevent this. What we need to see is a willingness to enforce those existing laws first and foremost. And at the end of the day, we're going to allow the police to investigate this crime. We can't jump to any conclusions about the motivations of the individuals involved. I think that's important. But at the end of the day, Paul and I are here first and foremost in solidarity with the rabbi, with the community of the temple, with our residents in the city of Westmount and to support our community as best we can during these difficult times.
Because I've spoken to the police chief and he said he's willing to prosecute. The provincial government says there isn't enough on certain hate crimes and stuff like that.
I'm not an expert on that. I can't make a comment on that.
Obviously, this is not what we want to see happen. We're grateful to the supports and the protection that we have in place, and we're outraged at the need for it.
Was there any damage to the building?
You can see the damage to the building behind me. So we
Inside.
have inside, you can smell the smoke, but because of the measures that we have in place, this wasn't far worse. Had we not had the protections that we do, this building could have been burned to the ground. So there's no illusions about the serious intent of the people who were behind it, and it's a credit to the community that worse wasn't done. Yeah.
This, as far as I understand, this is the second arson attack in the last year and a half or so. There was a swastika and then the firebomb. Why do you think your synagogue is being targeted?
We're being targeted along with all the rest of the Jewish community, right? We're not unique in this. Other synagogues, other schools, whether it's firebombs, whether it's bullet holes, whether it's swastikas, right? I mean, anti-Semites don't discriminate between different kinds of Jews. We're very much in this together, and I think that in a way it's really reinforcement of something we know, right? There are people who have said, oh, but you're such an inclusive synagogue, you're such a progressive synagogue. The people who hate us don't care. The people who hate us are equal opportunity haters, and an attack on a school or a synagogue isn't justified whoever it is, whatever our politics are, whatever our history is, whatever our approach is. It's just, crosses a line.
If I may ask you a little more personal, you have come out as a pretty centrist, I should say, pro-Palestinian Zionist, as I think you've described yourself in the past, if I recall correctly. Why do you think you're so inclusive? You're not really, pro-war, pro-anything. Why do you think you are being targeted?
Listen, we're pro-Israel as much as the rest of the Jewish community, and so I'm sure that's part of it. We're deeply Zionist in our history and in our current iteration, right? We say prayers for Israel every Shabbat. We have long and deep connections and links, and so that's not something that we disavow or would ever disavow in any way. It's part of who we are, and actually was from the days of Rabbi Stern back in the 1920s, even before the founding of the State of Israel. So, like most Jewish Canadians, Zionism and a connection to Israel is part of our lifeblood. It's part of who we are. But I do think that it also shows that the people who are attacking and hating Jews, they're not interested in nuance. They don't care about whether we want peace, whether we support a two-state solution, whether we like the current government or don't like the current government. This is Jews being targeted for being Jews. And frankly, if they said we'd leave you alone if you didn't have a connection to Israel, that's not a trade-off any of us are willing to make or to take. I appreciate the question. It's really important to say. I was just on the phone with the Minister of Public Security on the federal level. Our MP and our MNA have reached out to us, the mayor of Westmount as well. We have really strong connections with members of other faiths, so I've heard from the National Council of Canadian Muslims. I've heard from Mohammed Hashim, who is at a great organization whose name I need to look up to get it properly, but it's through Heritage Canada, and he's a longtime friend and colleague. So we are hearing those messages really from across Canada and from around the world, which is wonderful. But when this moment passes, we need not just expressions of support, we need active, concrete support. And all of us do, right? It's not just this temple, it's the whole Jewish community.
So your answer is, in 2 words, be more Jewish, or that's 3 words.
Listen, those are always my answers when there's anti-Semitism and when there's not anti-Semitism. I'm a rabbi, this is what we do. But I will say that I understand that people are afraid sometimes to show up, but when they do show up, they emerge with so much more of a sense of strength and hope. And I think it's really important not to let go of that. And not to deprive ourselves of the opportunity, right? You don't take your mezuzah down from your door. You don't stop coming to services, because the cost on a soul level to that is very great. And to me, it's worth taking at least a little bit of risk and to be smart and to protect ourselves and our community. But you can't just stay home.
Perfect. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I think you spoke about.
Are you concerned personally for your safety? Do you feel that Jews are now a target?
Of course, I'm concerned for my safety. I'm concerned for the safety of myself as a Jewish citizen, but I'm concerned about all citizens. I think we're all subject to the same issues, and our children are not safe if incidents of this nature happen. So I'm not looking at just our Jewish citizens, I'm looking at all our citizens. And if this happens to a synagogue and to a daycare, it could happen anywhere. And this is what concerns me. It's very frightening. And I think all residents, no matter what their persuasion, no matter what their religion, should be very concerned and outraged about an incident of this nature.
Canada has been filled with hate marches, hate attacks, and if the people that do it are not Canadian citizens, we should deport them. Go to deporthamas.com to sign our petition to deport these people.